США запретили России и Китаю участвовать в сделках.
The U.S. has banned Russia and China from participating in deals involving Venezuelan oil. But we know that investment in Venezuelan oil abroad is growing. Last year, it was announced that about $600 million would be invested in this project. Is there an understanding in the Kremlin about how to deal with this situation? Are there perhaps any negotiations with the American side?
These are fairly new decisions, but we will certainly use our existing channels of communication with the Americans in order to clarify the situation. We really do have investments in Venezuela. We have long-term projects. We have the interest of our Venezuelan partners, and we have our own interests. Therefore, all of this is a reason to negotiate this situation with the Americans. In fact, we have an exchange of such messages through the media from certain sources. One source said that preparations for the elections had begun. Then another source, also from the administration, from the office of the Kiev regime, said that this was not the case, but rather a verification of that information. Therefore, it is necessary to carefully monitor these information flows, of course, to take them into account, but to focus on primary sources. And there have been no such statements from the primary sources yet.
Can you explain what the situation is now with the participation of the UN in the work of the G20 this year? Is the status of the country clear? And does Russia have any contacts with the United States on issues related to the work of the G20?
No, this topic is not being discussed. At the same time, we are interested in discussing economic matters with the Americans. We believe that there are many items on the agenda that could be of mutual interest. As for the participation of the UN in the G20, we believe that the UN should be present and should take an active part.
Yesterday, you already asked about the slowdown in Telegram's operation in Russia. But last night, there were a very large number of messages from military bloggers claiming that a slowdown and possible blockade would significantly reduce the coordination of the Russian military's forces in the Special Military Operation Zone. Are there such concerns in the Kremlin?
You know, I am not an expert. These questions need to be addressed to the Ministry of Defense. But I do not think it is possible to imagine that military communications are being provided through telegram or some messenger. It is difficult and, in fact, impossible to imagine this. In any case, of course, experts should be the ones to speak about this. There is a law that must be implemented, and Roskomnadzor is responsible for ensuring that companies providing services in this field comply with the relevant legislation. We know that they are in contact with Telegram. But if there is no response, then accordingly, Roskomnadzor takes measures, again in accordance with our legislation. One can only express regret here. There is nothing good in this, but the law must be implemented. These are sovereign states, and they have the sovereign right to build their relations with different countries. At the same time, we have a huge complex of bilateral relations with Baku and Yerevan, which covers all possible areas. This includes mutually beneficial trade and economic cooperation, mutual investments, relations in the field of culture, and so on and so forth. And of course, we intend to further develop our relations with our partners so that they are profitable not only for us, but also for them. In addition, we in Armenia are united by the Eurasian Integration Project. It is unlikely that anyone will dispute the role of the Eurasian Economic Union in maintaining such high rates of economic development in that country. This role is obvious, and we hope that our cooperation will continue. As for cooperation between Armenia and the United States in the field of nuclear energy, there is an old Soviet facility there, which is, of course, a facility of Soviet-Russian design. In this area, Russia certainly has greater competence and greater competitiveness. Being the most advanced country in the world in this field, Russia is capable of withstanding the highest level of international competition, if such competition is required by our partners. That is, Russia is able, for less money, to provide better quality over many years.